Good morning, kiddos. Excuse me. Today we're going to be talking about markups and tips gratuity. Please, as always, feel free to stop, rewind, replay, do whatever you need to do to make sure you're understanding today's lesson, okay? So, we're going to start off with tips gratuity. Tips and gratuity are essentially the same thing, right? We've probably all heard of this. You usually do this when you go out to eat or say if you go to the hair salon or something like that. Maybe if just usually when a service is done for you, you generally go ahead and tip them, right? So, a tip or gratuity is money paid for a service that is added to the total cost. A standard tip is about 15 to 20%. Now, I mean, sometimes you tip depending on how good or bad your service may have been. But yeah, the standard tip should be between 15 and 20%. So to solve for tip, you're going to find the percent of the total bill after tax has been added, okay? So if you wanted to do it as a proportion, you can do this as a proportion or an equation. You would have X, which will be what the tip is going to be. That's what we're trying to find. And that would be over the cost of your meal, equal to 15% or 20% or whatever percent you want to use to tip over 100. Now, why are we putting over 100? Because remember, per cent is over 100, okay? Cent meaning 100, all right? Equation is, if you want to do it as an equation, it'll be a tip equals the percent times the cost of meal. Now, please beware. Yes, it's the percent times the cost of meal, but right here, you're going to need to change that percent to a decimal, okay? So you wouldn't just put in 15 times, say if your meal was $30, you wouldn't just say 15 times $30. You would change it to a decimal and say 1500s times $30, and you would get the the amount of tip you need to do. And then your total bill will be the cost plus the tip. So say if your tip is going to be $5 and your bill was $30, 30 plus 5, you'll have to pay $35, okay? So let's try one together. Alex and her brother ate lunch at a local restaurant. They left a tip that was 20% of the bill. If the bill was $15.50, how much did Alex and her brother leave for a tip? Let's stop here and challenge yourself. Try to do this one without going on. Pause the video and try it on your own. All right, so you could do this two ways. You can either do it the proportion way or the equation way. So let's look at the proportion way. First, you're going to set up your proportion, making sure to line up the units properly. So we have 20% because that's the amount that she is leaving of her bill. So 20% over 100. X is going to be the amount of tip. That's what we're trying to find. And her food, well, their food was $15.50. So that's the cost of the food. You're going to cross multiply and solve. So 20 times $15.50, and you're going to not change that to a decimal. You're going to multiply just how it is. And then 100 times x, you should have 100x. And then I'm going to divide 100 divided by 100 on both 100 divided by 100 on both sides. So 100 divided by 100 and then 310 divided by 100. You should get that your X or your tip amount is $3.10. Now, if you come over here and look at the equation way, it's a little bit simpler. It just depends on how you look at it. If your brain works the proportion way, great, do it that way. If your brain works the equation way, great, here it is. So for the equation way, you'll have 20% of $15.50. Change 20% to a decimal and then multiply. Remember, to change it into a decimal, we have this imaginary point right here. We're going to take that and we're going to move it 2 places to the left, okay? 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So now you have 20 hundredths times $15.50. And your tip will be $3.10. All right. We're going to stop right here and I'm going to upload part 2 right after. Okay.